Hello and welcome to this basic macroeconomics revision course. I am your teacher Mohammad Nadeem Sarwar. Today we shall continue our discussion on Keynesian economics and study the concept of multiplier. The reference books for today's lecture are Macroeconomics by Robert J. Gordon, Macroeconomics by N. Gregory Mankiw, and Macroeconomics by Oliver Blanchard. In today's lecture, we shall first study the concept of multiplier, its explanation. Then we shall discuss various kinds of multipliers, its mathematical derivation, and the key findings of this concept. So, let's start with the lecture. Students, from previous lecture, we know that an economy is in equilibrium where aggregate planned expenditure is the sum of autonomous expenditures of consumption, investment, government expenditure, and net exports. The overall consumption is autonomous consumption plus induced consumption, investment, government expenditure, and net exports are assumed to be fixed exogenously. Students, any change in a component of aggregate planned expenditures results in changing the output level by more than its size. Therefore, how many times national income changes due to a change in any component of aggregate planned expenditure is called multiplier. We can see that economy is in equilibrium initially at E naught, where aggregate demand, that is AD naught, is equal to given aggregate supply. Let's suppose there is some change in a component of aggregate planned expenditure, which results in shifting aggregate demand to AD1. As a result, equilibrium level changes from E0 to E1 and output level increases. The multiplier is the ratio of change in autonomous planned expenditures AP to the resultant change in income, that is Y. Now let's try to understand it in details. As noted, economy is in equilibrium at E naught. An increase in a part of autonomous planned expenditure, say autonomous consumption, results in shifting the equilibrium from E naught to E1. How this happens? Suppose that C alpha increases by delta C alpha. This increases aggregate demand shown by dotted vertical arrow. This increase is equal to increase in consumption. This increase in aggregate demand leads to an equal increase in production and thus to an equal increase in income, as shown by horizontal dotted arrow. This increase in income further stimulates the demand and results in increasing it by C times delta C alpha, where this C is marginal propensity to consume, which represents the change in consumption due to 1 unit change in income. This increase in demand again leads to an equal increase in production and income as shown. And similarly, this increase in income further increases the demand by C times C into delta C alpha, that is C square delta C alpha. This increase further increases the production and income, which further increases the demand, which further increases the income and production, and the process continues until the economy reaches at E1, where aggregate demand is equal to aggregate supply. Mathematically, the change in national income will be equal to, or the term in bracket is geometric sequence, and using the formula for the sum of geometric sequence for C less than 1, we have, therefore change in income is equal to, and the multiplier, which is the ratio of change in income to change in the component of AP, is students. If there is an increase in autonomous consumption, the ratio of resultant change in income to change in autonomous consumption will be consumption multiplier, as we discussed in previous example. If autonomous planned investment changes, the ratio of the two, that is change in income to change in autonomous planned investment, will be investment multiplier. Similarly, if there is a change in government expenditures or in taxes which results changing in national income, we shall have tax multipliers and government expenditure multipliers. Now let's derive all these multipliers mathematically. Although we have derived it mathematically just a few minutes before, however, this is another way of mathematical derivation. As we know that economy is in equilibrium where aggregate expenditure, that is aggregate demand, is equal to aggregate supply, and aggregate expenditures are equal to C plus I plus G plus Nx. Putting the values and simplifying, we have equation 1. More detailed derivation of this equation 1 can be seen in previous lecture. Now let's assume there is a change in autonomous consumption which results in changing the national income. So the equation 1 changes to, we can simplify it as, and cancelling by from both sides we have, and the multiplier is now the investment multiplier, which represents change in national income due to change in autonomous planned investments. Therefore, equation 1 changes to, and simplifying it, and similar to consumption multiplier, we have investment multiplier as. Next is balanced budget multiplier. The balanced budget multiplier is the sum of government expenditure multiplier and tax multiplier. If the taxes are autonomous, then the sum of two is equal to 1. The government expenditure multiplier, which represents change in national income due to change in government expenditures, can be represented as, which can be simplified to, and government expenditure multiplier is similarly the tax multiplier, which represents the change in national income due to changes in autonomous taxes, is, which can be simplified to, and the tax multiplier, which is the change in national income to a change in autonomous taxes, is. Now adding both, we have, which is the balanced budget multiplier. From this lecture, we can learn that production depends on demand, which depends on income, and the income is itself equal to production. An increase in demand due to any factor leads to an increase in production and a responding increase in income. This result was the base of Keynesian theory about the role of the government. Keynes advocated that in recession, government should increase its expenditures, which will result in increasing the demand, leading to an increase in production and national income. This increase in income leads to further increase in demand, which leads to further increase in production, and so on. The end result is that an increase in output is larger than the initial shift in demand by a factor equal to multiplier, and the size of this multiplier is related to the value of MPC. Higher the MPC, higher the multiplier. That is all for this lecture. In the next lecture, we shall discuss the inflationary and deflationary gaps. Please ask your questions and post your feedback in comments. Also consider liking and sharing the video and subscribing the channel. Thank you and goodbye.